I'm Anna Mann. I lead IT ops focused on observability and people leadership under pressure. This is Metrics and Mayhem. Let's get into it. So, as most of you know, I'm a member of the so called 4 a.m. club. I like getting up early. I like going for my walks. And this morning, I was just uncharacteristically tired this morning. Today is Thursday. I've got a big trip back to the UK from Abu Dhabi. I'm really looking forward to seeing family and friends. But I was doing my usual sort of, which we all do, the kind of yeah, the death scrolling part as I was kind of trying to wake up. I should really stop doing that. But all I kept seeing was just more and more people just fighting for attention like it's oxygen. And while we tend to be drawn by these things, and that's the way our brain is apparently being rewired these days, I landed on a genuine story about Muhammad Ali. I'm a big boxing fan, but I really only know the Muhammad Ali through the belts and obviously the noise, but not how he treated people. And it was his daughter. It was an interview with his daughter, and she really called out the fact that he always stayed until the last person in the queue had seen him. If they'd come out to see him, he would have made the point. He always made eye contact. He always respected the fact that they were his fans and that he had a duty of care to them. And he made sure that no one was left feeling invisible. And that really hit home with me. I've often talked about leadership, about leading from the back and not from the front. And because if genuine leaders lead from the back, we rarely show at the front. And that's the way it should be. And that's what most people don't realize. And I know I keep banging on about that, but that's the fucking truth. So, but then on the flip side of that, we're at the back. But I don't know about you, but without realizing it, I tend to always notice the louder voices. In actual fact, sometimes we advocate that. We want people to stand up. We want people to come forward and tell us what's going on. The fast talkers, the confident ones, the ones who always have a take on a specific subject ready. But when it comes to ops and observability, monitoring, etc., the real problems don't shout loud enough, right? There's like a little whisper. And if you've been in monitoring as long as I have, um, they always sit with the person who's on the bridge call who's quiet, the engineer who looks unsure, doesn't want to interrupt, the night shift handover that always feels slightly off, because everyone's rushing and just wants to get off the call to the end. I've seen incidents where the signal's been sitting there for hours. It's not been hidden. It's not complex. It's just ignored. Most of these times, it's lived with that last person in the queue. The one no one asked, the one no one makes space for. And then everything goes to fucking shit. And we all pretend it come out of nowhere, like the system just woke up and just chose violence upon us. So here's the point. Inclusion is not a soft skill. In IT ops, it's a performance control. It's a part of the overall performance of your stack. When people feel safe to speak to you, you'll get a better signal. You'll get an earlier warning. You'll get cleaner decisions and shorter incidents. Trust me, you will. When they don't, you get silence, and silence is expensive. I've said that a few times. It's one of my favorite sayings. And here's the real uncomfortable truth. Most teams, they don't miss signals because they don't care. They miss them because they're busy, they're distracted, and we only tend to listen to the loudest voice in the room. Controlling an instant call is generally hard, especially when you've got the wrong people on the call, And this is where I have to stress this, right? Leadership isn't a fucking talent show, guys. You're there because of your experience. You're there because you got the right people right around you. They may give you the right information so you can make the right decision. So here's my traditional hard stop everyone's used to now. If your culture only listens to the loudest voices, you're running production with missing telemetry, and you will pay for it. And I want you to take this habit on board. Look in your calls for that, what I call the last person. In meetings, ask the quiet one first. Encourage, help. Most of our best engineers are introverts, remember that. So help. On calls, pause and bring in the person who hasn't spoken yet. After incidents, don't just ask what broke, ask who saw something, but that person who didn't feel safe enough to say it. Look, this isn't about being nice, guys. It's about being serious. Yeah. So in high pressure environments, inclusion is how you stop missing things. It's how you catch signals before they turn into incidents. Look after the last person in the queue. That's how, as leaders, we can perform better. Thanks for listening. I hope you've found this useful, and please pass on to anybody who you think might find useful. And of course, more signal soon.